So what's first? What's next? What the heck? What is Skip Schumaker doing right now? We'll try to tell you next. It's the DLLS Rangers Sportscast. Yeah, it is. It really has been time to get busy for Skip Schumaker. It is dramatic when you look at that video, or that photo, I should say, from Friday. Skip's 5'10", and Chris Young's like 6'10", 6'11", and it really shows. Now, we are like in the second row. I think Kat took that picture. Yeah, we're in the second row, and sitting down. So he looks shorter than he really, almost looks height challenged, and he's really not. He seems like a normal-sized guy when you stand next to him and talk to him. Yeah. John Radigan, Jeff Wilson, the Queen, Cat here. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast that sometimes we call a sportscast, but usually we call it a podcast. And we're glad to have you alongside. Skip, one of the things I love that he said that we haven't brought up yet was just, and maybe we did on the interview with him, but just how he said, about a year ago this time, he was 2 weeks into having nothing to do, right? He had stopped working for the Marlins. He's 2 weeks into nothing to do, and he's in California, Southern California, Orange County, where he lives in the off season with his wife. And she looked at him at one point and said, "Look, I am not your hobby," right? So he's like, "Oh, all right, I got to find stuff to do." And he's one of those guys, do. I can relate to that, right? So anyway, nobody's having to say that to Skip this year.
No,
he's got plenty to do. And maybe, first on the list is double checking on the top prospect in the organization, who yesterday was sort of shut down. Where do we stand on Sebastian Walcott?
I think shut down is too strong. I think he's not playing right now. I think they said he has some arm fatigue. Which is curious because we had him on a weekly show, John Moore and I, on Monday, and he's like, "Oh yeah, my body feels great." And Monday was an off day for them, so maybe he slept on it funny, or maybe his arm was sore the other day playing catch, Tuesday morning or Tuesday before their game, whatever it was. He's going to be evaluated for a few days, and then they'll see. But the understanding that I have is that he has not been pulled out of the league, and he's going to go home and just wait for this thing to heal. I think they're just giving him a few days to see if he can play again.
That Arizona Fall League lasts just to the end of October.
It goes into middle November.
It does.
Think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But they have so many players for each position. It's 5 teams,
right,
and 8 guys from each team.
Yeah.
So the Saguaros of Surprise are not hurting at shortstop.
Right.
They have a lot of people who can cover the position, and that will buy Sebastian and the Rangers time to decide what the next step would be after a few days. If the arm's still bugging them, then maybe they do say, "All right, let's pull the plug on this."
Yeah.
And if he's showing improvement, then maybe they start him out DHing, because the clubs do have a say, and then maybe he progresses to throwing. But I don't think there's any cause for alarm here.
Right. And so in the Fall League concept here, he's not playing for Rangers coaches necessarily.
There's one Rangers, each team provides a coach.
Okay.
And and I don't recall who it is this year. My apologies, but in the past, not long ago, Carlos Cardozo, the Frisco manager, was the Fall League manager, and they won the championship. I believe that was in 23. every club has a coaching representative, and and there are coaches who live in Arizona, Carlos being one of them.
Yeah.
Actually, Jordan Teagues lives in Arizona near the facility. So there are people there pretty much year round
Yeah.
who can help Sebastian in any way, shape, or form. And so yeah, he's not down there by himself.
Right. He's under the watchful eye of his own coaches, as well as obviously the coaches from the other teams aren't like trying to sabotage him, or get him hurt or anything. It's in everybody's best interest to have these great players playing. And if they can't, then you sit them down for a while, and hopefully not too long with Sebastian Walcott. The other thing that Skip Schumaker is doing right now, other thing on the list, is just to maybe call each of his Gold Glove finalists and say congratulations. The Rangers have 5 Gold Glove finalists, and when you consider, Jeff, there's the list of both American and National League, and there are 3 players from each position who are the finalists. And when you consider that the Rangers had, an historically good defensive year, it probably makes sense that there are 5 finalists, and it might make sense that there are 5 winners, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The finalists are Jacob deGrom, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, Wyatt Langford, and Adolis Garcia.
Yeah, and it might be a little light because I thought Josh Young had a good enough defensive year to...
And Josh Smith.
That's what I meant.
Oh,
Josh Smith.
yeah.
Sorry, not Josh Young. Josh Smith to warrant consideration for a utility award because he played a lot of different positions.
Yeah, and played him well,
and he did well to exceedingly well at times. So a little surprised there. I had some concern that the Semien injury, missing the last month, and the same thing with Seager, might cost them finalist status. But if you look at the defensive run saves, Corey Seager still led baseball despite playing only 103 games at shortstop, and Adolis was first in right field. So now, does that translate to an award? I don't know, but I think for Adolis, yes, I think he has the reputation,
right,
and people know in the league, we're not running on that arm. So I think Adolis is a lock for the Gold Glove, frankly, and then from there we'll see. Wyatt Langford was second in defensive run saves, saved to Stephen Kwan in Cleveland, and Semien was a little further down the list, so that might be a reputation thing, or there just might be a thing where the DRS stat doesn't match the eye test.
Right. And then you've got Jacob deGrom, one of the 3 pitchers, and again, we've said it, he was a shortstop in college.
Right. He's a great athlete.
Yeah.
In addition to being a great pitcher, he's a great athlete. Now, I don't remember any dazzling Jacob deGrom plays.
Don't either.
Or him picking off a bunch of base runners. Make 3 plays in a start. He takes care of 1 inning himself and gets himself, deeper into a start. And as far as going deeper in games, that's an old school philosophy, it seems like. But nevertheless, with Jacob, he is a guy who, when not limited by health, wants to go deep into.
Is it an old school philosophy? We had a complete game last night. More on that coming up a little bit later. We will talk about, obviously, the playoffs. We'll also talk about some of the candidates the Rangers have that really just need to have bounce back or comeback years, and baseball Armageddon. That's all coming. But for now, we continue this talking with Corey Seager. To your point, his numbers are great. The injury won't help, and that's a tough position.
It is, and Seager gets knocked a lot for his lack of range.
Right.
And but when you look at his body of work, you hit Corey Seager the ball, he's pretty much going to catch it and throw a strike to whatever base he's throwing to. And my gosh, how important is that? Great defensive teams, the very first thing they have to do is make the routine. And nobody does that better, honestly, than Corey Seager. He's smooth. His throws are almost always a strike. Um, and Michael Young said this once in talking about Seager, and Michael kind of fell into this same category because he didn't have great range, but he made every play, and he did win a Gold Glove. It's how many times do you really see the shortstop go into the hole like Jeter,
Right.
and,
I was just
Elvis
say
Andrus,
Jeter. Yeah.
or go way behind second base like Ozzie Smith used to do,
Right.
and make these great throws. You just don't see it very much. What you do see though is 3 to 5 ground balls a game hit to the shortstop, and you want those. You need those 3 to 5 outs, and so that's what Corey Seager does exceedingly well. But yeah, you're right. It's a tough position. I didn't see who the other finalists, but I'm assuming that
Bobby Witt Jr.
is in there, and Gunnar Henderson's thought to be a really good shortstop. Zach Neto from the Angels had a nice had a nice year. So it's a pretty loaded position for solid defensive players.
Yeah, there's just no doubt about that. I'm gonna take a glance.
You're gonna glance for us, all right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right, that's that. We'll see. We'll let you know who among them makes the wins the Gold Glove. Certainly, the Rangers will get 1, 2, and who knows, maybe even more. All About Sports Zone starts us off with a question about which coaching changes, who's the most likely to get the axe. I mean, I believe that at this point, Jeff, maybe both base coaches. Certainly, we hear Tony Beasley was kind of right there anyway. Like he was saying during the season, if I'm probably only going to do this for as long as Boch does. So when Boch is done, I'm done. So when you've got that plus a new manager coming in, it seems like that's almost a win-win, if you will. That almost really is a mutual decision. Would Tony Beasley come back? He probably would.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, it's like, I was kind of thinking I might ride off into the sunset anyway.
Yeah, and I think that that's a possibility. Maybe he gets offered a different position in the organization. I think Corey Ragsdale is okay. I think he'll end up either back at first base, or if Tony doesn't stay,
maybe at third,
then maybe he replaces Tony as the third base coach. And I really, the offensive, the hitting staff, the hitting coaches are an enigma to me. They really are.
Yeah.
Because they stay in their cave most of the time.
Talk to them. Yeah.
Brett Boone does get out on the field a lot, but his circumstances were so unique that I don't really know, and I know he said he wants to coach, but it's like, okay, but will he be back? Is he entrenched?
Right.
And I think ultimately Mike Maddox comes back, along with Dave Bush and Jordan T, unless they have opportunities elsewhere. I would think that Jordan is the perfect guy for this pitching staff, because he worked with so many of these young guys. I mean, he went through the ups and downs with Jack Leiter and Cole Winn. He was the guy who, as the minor league pitching coordinator, was doing all he could to help them. And when Jack got pulled out of basically competition in 23, it was him and Teagues. They were working real close together. And again, if the Rangers are going to be going young or less experienced, they're going to need a guy like Jordan, who Mark Church could lean on down there, who Jack can lean on at times before games, and
Rocker eventually.
Yeah. Just all these young guys who are coming have all been touched in some way by Jordan Teagues. So I think he's a lock. And then Dave Bush, the analyst, the former pitcher, former Red Sox pitching coach, perhaps he gets interviewed.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely a movement. It's been stated by Chris Young to bring those three back.
Yes. Yes. And so, yeah, hitting coach may be the biggest question mark at this time. So, anyway, another thing we keep an eye on, another thing we think happens sooner rather than later. These coaches, and Skip said it to us on Friday. He wants to give these guys the opportunity to, have as much time as possible to find their next gig. It's not lost on him that this is their livelihood and that they have families and they need a certain amount of certainty and then, just pragmatically a certain amount of time to find their next gig if this is not where it will be. So more coming up as we talk about these guys that need the bounce back years and how they might happen and what they might look like. It's next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
John, have you heard from Nicole lately?
I have heard from Nicole, and I'm glad. I'm glad you asked that question of me, Jeff, because I didn't know who was first. And so Nicole is my good friend from Game Time, and she sent me an email to remind me that there are so many tickets available. NBA, first and foremost. You can still get NBA tickets for basically probably any Mavs game all season long, and there's some really good bargains. The Cowboys, of course, play the Commanders this weekend. Before that happens, though, American Airlines Center was busy last night with the Stars, of course. Friday night, Nate Bargatze.
Oh,
you know Nate.
Oh, yeah.
A funny guy, right? You can get tickets to there. Or the same day, the Credit Union of Texas Event Center. I don't know what that is, but Somber is there.
Somber?
Good old Somber.
Oh, good.
So
I like Somber.
Anyway, you can get tickets to any or all those Game Time. Use the code DLLS with the Game Time app and get $20 off your first purchase.
Yeah, and with that 20% off, go ahead and take that and parlay it over into branded bills, where if you use the code BBDLLS, you get 15% off. What a deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, branded bills. You see it throughout this set. You see it on my head with our sweet DLS hat. And whether you need snapbacks, truckers, fitteds, beanies, or tees, branded bills has you covered with performance and style. And if you need your own brand to stand out, as we did, branded bills is for you. They can get you custom headwear. So start your order with them. Their team will help you. And also, they have the college partnerships, 40 colleges, including TCU, Texas Tech, and Texas. So again, head to brandedbills.com and use the code BBDLLS for 15% off your first order.
Yeah, it's a lot of B's, D's, and L's is what that really is. So, okay, so here's the thing. I've got this little list. Jeff and I don't talk about a lot of these things before the show because we want to give you our precious spontaneity. And
organic.
Yes, it's very organic. So the list I came up with, and there are others, but candidates for comeback years, bounce back years.
Ooh, yeah.
Josh Young, Jake Berger, Jock Peterson, and Evan Carter. Now, I think it's pretty obvious.
I have to look at this list.
The highest bounce back needs to come from Jock Peterson. But to me, on that list, the most important one is Josh Young. If Josh Young can bounce back to being, what they thought he was when they drafted him in the top 10, 8th overall, was it?
8th overall.
Yeah. If he can have that bounce back year and be exactly what they thought he was, that's way more important than certainly Peterson, although Peterson's bounce has to be higher. But Peterson's around for one more year, max, right?
Yeah.
Josh Young, they were hoping, still are. He's like a cornerstone as well as a corner infielder, but a cornerstone of the franchise.
Yeah, I think this is a huge season for him. If he is on the team, we think he will be, just with the value and the ceiling that he hasn't yet realized. But if he doesn't realize it this year, if he plateaus at whatever it is, 250 and 15 home runs, how much longer do you want to see that? And can you do better?
Right.
And oh, by the way, Sebastian Walcott can play third base.
Sure.
So I think that it's a pretty big year for him. So yeah, it's pretty critical. And I would add. Did you have Simeon on the list? I would add Simeon.
Yeah,
to the
and
list.
it's a good point. That's I should
if
have.
he's with
Yeah.
the team, because it's 2 straight years of decline, and that's we're there with Adolis Garcia, and we're talking about Adolis not coming back. And now there's some contractual things that are leading to that, but if you can't trade a Simeon contract or eat some of it, or aren't willing to do that, where does Marcus Simeon fit in your lineup? Because he's definitely not going to be batting leadoff.
No.
You can't have that anymore.
He's got to be in the bottom third in his current, his current offensive showing and ability. And that is the thing. When I compiled this list in my brain, I was just thinking, obviously, Adolis and Jonah Heim would both be candidates for this list, except that I just think we all do that the Rangers are probably going to part ways with both those guys during the offseason.
Yeah, and I did finally publish that Adolis Garcia story. I promised you guys that was coming, and it was pretty interesting because in the season ender, I asked Chris Young, "Hey, what do you make of the seasons of Jock Peterson and Adolis Garcia?" And he said, "Yeah, we can't hide from it. They were not good at all." And but then the way he answered it was interesting, because he basically, and maybe it's just him trying to sell other teams on Jock Peterson, but he's like, "Oh man, I felt terrible for Jock. He got off to a bad start, and couldn't get out of it. And he's such an infectious personality when he's going well, and all of this stuff. And he's putting pressure on himself. And he was our big free agent contract and all that. But he also said, I really expect next year to see the normal version of Jock. And I think that this year was an anomaly, and we expect that Jock will bounce back in a big way and be a contributor moving forward." Okay. Well, what about Adolis? Oh, glad you asked. And regarding Adolis, it's 2 years in a row where Adolis has struggled. There were some moments where he played well, but the consistency offensively hasn't been there. Then you talked about what a great job he did on defense. But we do have decisions to make as to what the future looks like, and we haven't determined anything as it relates to anybody. But the reality is we'll have to evaluate everything. So 2 completely different answers.
Yeah.
And
you're right. It could be a sales pitch to other teams for Jock Peterson, but the reality is you should be selling to whatever extent you can. Adolis too. You'd like to trade him rather than just non-tender him.
Yeah, that sounds like that.
Yeah, man.
But
so
come on, Jock.
Yeah. So good, Jock. But he needs to have the greatest bounce in a bounce back year, right? I mean, he needs, because he was so low, and and I think later in that year ender, CY was asked something else about Jock, and he started breaking it down, like specifically. Oh, he had the slow start, and he was pressing, and then he got hurt, and he was gone for 6 weeks. But then he was doing, and look, it still only got him to $180, right? And he still wasn't a guy when he came to the plate.
Be generous. Oh no, he surged to 181 to finish.
See there, but he still wasn't a guy who, when he came to the plate, I'm thinking, all right, he's got us, right? We're covered. This will be fine. It's a pressure situation. Oh God, can you pinch hit for him? So he absolutely has to, if he's around, he has to be a part of the biggest bounce. When you talk about bounce back, the bounce for him has to be big, big, big. For Evan Carter, the bounce back, gosh, it's just so medical, right? It's so physical.
Yeah.
And what I read just the other day, and I can't remember where I saw it. Have you seen that they're calling his back situation an autoimmune disease?
Well, he's very guarded about that. We've asked him about it, and he is really taking that HIPAA stuff to heart. And that's fine. And the Rangers aren't saying anything about it, which, is fine. But he has always maintained that it's something he's going to grow out of, and that it just has to take time. Now, there are things he has to do to for maintenance,
Okay.
day to day. So you feel good about it, and the injury that shut him down this year, he had 2 weeks off because of the back. All right, that's not bad. And then the broken wrist, which was not, just one of those freak things that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But he, after he got his feet under him at AAA there in April, he came up and was pretty effective. Now, he's not good on the road, which is crazy. And we all know about his struggles against left-handers. At some point, they're just going to potentially have to bite that bullet. Be like, all right, you're our everyday player.
Sink or swim, kid. Yeah.
Learn how to hit these guys. But it's hard to do also when you're attempting to win ball games.
Sure.
And, you don't want this guy who, 9 times out of 10 or even 19 times out of 20 is going to make an out against a lefty. So, but he's going to be a player on the team.
Yes.
There's no doubt about that. He probably, if you're looking at who's coming back, he's probably got to be your leadoff hitter, at least against right-handers. A guy who can run, get on base. He has some of the best at bats on the team with his the full count Carter thing and grinding out at bats and understanding the strike zone. But he's still a developing player. That's the problem with these injuries the last couple of years. He's missed reps. And, he's like, oh, well, you can look at him and be like, well, he came up in 23 at the end, 24, 25. He should know what he's doing by now. And the fact of the matter is,
barely been here.
It just, that's not the case.
Mm-mm.
He's still young and still developing. Terrific center fielder. His arm could be a little stronger, but I think Evan Carter is going to be good and a big part of this team. In 26.
Yep. I think it's just, it's largely health. So, right, if he is going to grow out of this back situation, then, maybe this is hopefully he's right there, right? I mean, he is young. Maybe he's now grown out of it. Who knows at what point that might happen. But I think that his development is and his bounce back is largely contingent upon health. The kid works really hard. He came here with a really good baseball IQ. So, it basically boils down to if he can get on the field or not. The thing, though, about throwing him into the water and saying sink or swim against lefties is we know that Skip Schumaker, he said it more than once at the press conference, his thing is what we have to do everything we can to win today, right?
Yeah.
Like that. And that's how he approaches life, win everything at life, right? But if you're doing that as it relates to the baseball game, leading off the game with a guy who doesn't get a hit 19 out of 20 times against a lefty probably doesn't give you the best chance to win today.
Yeah, and that's ultimately it comes down to wins, and Chris Young wants to win.
Yeah,
and they're going to. This is as we've talked about last week. This is being a manager it's all hands on deck, making decisions, and if the Rangers can feel like a platoon's the best way to go, let's say they like Michael Hellman. Right. I don't know if Michael Hellman's a leadoff hitter, but if he's more productive against left-handers and they're trying to win games, well, Evan Carter may be a platoon player again in 26.
Yep. So we'll see. We feel like those are the guys as well as Simeon, and you can name a few others. I mean, I know you can. We could too, but those are the big ones. And Jake Berger, by the way, I think will have a bounce back year anyway. I think it wouldn't matter who his manager is, but he has a fondness and a relationship with Skip Schumaker.
Yeah.
I remember reading that right when Jake and his wife found out, Allison, I think her name is, when they found out that their baby girl was going to be Down syndrome. He went and they had a heart-to-heart. Jake went to him and said, how do I handle this? And it was, this isn't baseball talk, man. This is, me and my coworker essentially, and my friend helping me. And I know that Jake has a great fondness for how Skip came through for him in that relationship at that time.
Yeah.
So that kind of a working relationship, Jeff, I think bodes well for the bounce back from Jake Berger.
I'm with you, and he's again. It's just a matter of him staying on the field. I think if he stays on the field, he's shown in his career. It's only been 3 seasons, but the 2 seasons where he had 500 at bats, he hit 33 and 28 home runs. The guy's going to run into some pitches and hit home runs. So, and that has been lacking from first base for the Rangers for a while.
It has. It sure has. We know that there have been hits from that position, but not necessarily the home runs. So, okay, more coming up. We'll get to. I see questions. I'm very intrigued by Ethan's thought there and what he heard on MLB with this Skip interview. We get to that, and we'll talk a little bit about the potential for baseball Armageddon. It's all coming up next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. You all support us so well. We appreciate you. I hope I see a lot of the medallions in there because you are so many of you already members of the Supporters Club. It's only $15. Get a little medallion by your name as well, if you would, and then you'll have access to even more of the content that we will provide. It gets it all the way up to true sicko level stuff. $15 would also get you all of the emojis, those different and neat emojis that you see down the lower right-hand corner of the graphic there. We would love for you to join us as a member of the Supporters Club. It's just one more way for you to, A, support us, but B, we don't, it's not like it's for nothing. We're going to continue to do more and more behind the scenes type stuff to show you what goes on here and what goes on here, which is sometimes a scary place to be there too, right?
Oy.
But anyway, that's what we're trying to do with these special videos we provide in the Supporters Club.
Yep. And here's something that don't cost nothing. You go to our homepage, alldls.com. Go to the very bottom where there's a banner ad that is imploring you to join our newsletter list. And, Ali's doing a great job with it. All you have to do is enter your email. All right. We're not looking for your birth certificate here, your home address, any credit card information, just an email address. And what you'll get multiple times a week are thumbnails of what's happening with the 4 major teams that we're covering. Ali covers the Cowboys, but he's not just putting Cowboy stuff in there. Honestly, it's all 4 teams. The Stars had their home opener last night. The Mavs are getting ready to open. My team, the Rangers, well, what have we been talking about for 2 weeks? They've been busy since the day the dang season ended. So again, join our newsletter list to stay informed.
All right, so Ethan brings up what he heard on MLB Network with when Skip Schumaker was on there, and he says that Luis Arraez is his favorite player. Now, that's maybe paraphrasing a bit. I didn't hear it myself.
I trust
but
Ethan.
I like it, Ethan. And if he's Skip Schumaker's favorite player, I would love to see that. To me, he is a, sort of one of those mid-level type free agents. I mean, he's not going to command the money that the Pete Alonsos of the world and now Alex Bregman's back out there and all these other, right? He's going to command middle of the richest people in the world money, not top of the richest athletes in the world money.
Yeah, he's going to be 29, Arraez is, shortly after the season starts. And, it's crazy that he's been, I guess his next team will be his fourth team.
Yeah.
Pretty strange for a young fella who has a career average of 317. Now, he dipped to 292 this season. He doesn't take a lot of walks, but that's okay because he gets a ton of hits.
Yeah.
Had 181 hits this year, which led the National League, maybe baseball. But, the question, I guess, for him, as far as the Rangers would be concerned, is where are you going to play him? Because he's not known as a defensive wizard. This season, for instance, he played second base 14 times. He played first base 117 times. Was solid over there for a little fella. He's not 6'5", you know.
Right.
So if you have Jake Berger there and you have Jock Peterson on your roster, where are you gonna? And Marcus Simeon, where are you gonna sneak this guy in? I think for a guy who seems to fit the mold, a guy who hits and makes contact and has a good strike zone awareness and is a tough out, well, yeah, I think you find a spot for him. Question then becomes, all right, well, how much money? He made $14 million this season. What's that going to look like for a 28-year-old heading into free agency? You'd figure 20.
Yeah.
You know, well, if he's your guy, and if your manager, your new manager is like, we got to have this guy on our team, I think that would probably be your free agency
Your
splurge.
big one. Yeah.
So, you know, all right, so he's on the team. What do you do with Jake Berger? Well, Jake Berger can play third. Jake Berger can DH. He can DH on the days when Jock Peterson, you know, is on the bench because a left-hander is playing. So there are ways to do it. And again, maybe Jock Peterson's not. You know,
Right.
maybe that one does. Maybe it's like, all right, Jock, Chris Young. Hey guys, look at this great. He's gonna bounce back. You know?
Right. And maybe they feel like there's a chance they have to move Marcus Simeon.
Yeah.
And now there's a spot available at second base.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't know that kind of thing never comes out of the Rangers front office, and that's, you know, I think actually that's a good thing. It's kind of frustrating from where we sit, but we're also not tracking down a bunch of silly rumors either, right? I mean, which that's the upside of not of them having that thing, sealed up pretty tight. So it would be interesting. I love the bat. Jeff asks that great question, though. You know, what about where do you play him? And so that's the consideration.
No, I think you find a spot for him. If this is the guy you think is going to change your offense, go get him and figure out the rest.
Sure. Do you think they'd try to re-sign Malley or Kelly? I think definitely Kelly.
I think they'll look at
probably
both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Corbin.
I would say if I had to handicap it, I'd say
Kelly,
Malley, Kelly,
Corbin. Okay.
Like if that's me, I think Corbin filled a need for them wonderfully, was durable, reliable, and he pitched okay. He pitched really, really well at times. But can you do better than Patrick Corbin? Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And he's going to get a raise now. You know, it's not like he's going to re-sign for $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, he's looking to get a little money here.
Sure.
And he deserves it. So Malley's, I think you can structure a deal for him that would.
Yeah, he's probably not getting.
Yeah.
Didn't he make 16?
16 and a half.
Yeah, I mean, just based on what, his injury status has been, I'm not sure he can command more than that. So to get him for less than that, I mean, when he is out there all year.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
it was
really,
nothing
really
wrong
with that. Wasn't he out there enough?
Yeah.
Do you see Chris Martin retiring or coming back? You talked to him late in the year, didn't you, Jeff?
Well, they've already given his number to Skip Schumaker.
Oh,
so,
okay.
So I don't know if that's an indication or not, but Chris, when we spoke, he didn't travel to Cleveland, so it was on the last homestand.
Okay.
He said, "Yeah, I'm leaning toward retirement." And what? How many times was this guy hurt this year? And he's 39.
And crazy hurts,
Yeah,
crazy.
And he's dealing with the TOS symptoms, in the shoulder, and that, that doesn't portend to. It's not an easy fix, and there's a thought that surgery for thoracic outlet syndrome robs you of velocity. And he's a relief pitcher who, can get it up to 90, 95, 96. I think that he'll retire. He's got 4 little kids, nice spread out there somewhere. And
heading towards Weatherford out there.
Or
even further.
It's Wichita Falls area.
That's right.
And so he's probably, I think he recognizes how fortunate he is, considering he, was injured in college and kind of gave up and was selling, working at an appliance warehouse.
Yeah.
And then kind of came back and did all these remarkable things. There's a remarkable story, and he's made a ton of money in this game. And I think that he's probably at the point where it's enough is enough, and he's ready to head into the retirement, which for him is probably just hunting all the time.
Yeah, probably is out there. He's got a great spread, like Jeff said, and a happy life out there. Any chance they move Carter to right field and Hellman to center? I don't think they have any problem with Carter.
No,
in center field when he's playing,
I mean,
when he can play.
It seemed like that was a story in spring training. Like, are you guys sure you want him to play center and run around on the turf and cover all that ground? And they're like, we have no problem with him in center field. So I don't think that that's a possibility. And if they were going to change the center fielder, I think they'd put Langford in. Honestly, you know, he's proven to be pretty good out there too.
Yeah.
And Carter's arm is probably a better fit for left field.
True.
Than right field. Yeah.
All right. So this baseball Armageddon story, I think it was passing. I read it, editorial, or just sort of some musings, and he's like, we all need to be fans of whoever represents the American League if the Dodgers make it, or of the Brewers right now.
Yeah.
Because if the Dodgers win the World Series with that payroll, right? Because again, if you add in all the deferments and everything like that, I saw somebody estimate about $417 million for this year. I don't know that that's what they're going to be taxed on, but if you put all of it in, $417 million is what they're paying this year. And the other owners are going to be more steadfast and more dug in about a salary cap if they fear that the Dodgers will just keep doing this and consequently make it to where nobody else gets to play or gets to, really compete for the World Series title. And that seems silly and short-sighted on the part of the Dodgers, but on the part of the owners, I should say. But I think that Passan is probably right about that. And if the Dodgers don't win, then all the owners who own the Brewers and own the smaller market teams and stuff can say, it's okay. We can still win.
Yeah.
With, even the Mariner, we can still win without spending $417 million. But the players aren't going to accept the salary cap. And if the owners are absolute, I've read the players aren't even going to go to the table if there's a salary cap included in the negotiating. So if the owners are that determined to get one, and the players won't go to the table, I don't know when we have baseball or after. We don't have to worry about this summer, but the following.
Yeah. It's I remember the lockout in 21 into 22, and just how there was nothing right about.
Mm-hmm.
God, now do we do 5 shows a week, John?
Right.
Anyway,
we're doing college football or something.
Yeah. Well, all right, that's not bad. But anyway, I think that the one thing that I think might be an area where they could reach an agreement, a compromise, would be closing down deferments. Because it's like a loophole.
Yep.
Shohei Ohtani is being paid $2 million this year.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And for the next 10 years.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
And then paid into perpetuity.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And and now, the owners have to, when they do that deferment stuff, the money, they have to fund the account immediately. So it's not like they're skimping by and holding fundraisers, bake sales to raise the money. They have to put that money into an account. But it's like a loophole.
Yep. It is.
And a team that has its own mega TV deal.
Oh yeah.
That you spoke about. It really is unfair what they've figured out a way to do.
Yeah.
So I think that needs to be closed. You just say no more deferred money.
Yeah.
Or you cap the deferred money at a certain amount. Because again, any team can do it.
Sure.
The Brewers could
Yep.
could do it.
Rangers
they really
could do it.
The Rangers
Yep.
could do it. And the Rangers have done it a little bit. They did it with David Robertson in 23. But it just seems like you're really cheating. You've found a way to game the system.
Yeah.
And, so you would think that would be a good place to start. Say, all right, no salary cap, but no more deferrals.
Yeah.
We're looking at you, the Dodgers. I mean, they created, MLB created a rule for Shohei Ohtani, and it was while he was with the Angels, fine. But they're taking advantage of that rule. Like when he leaves the game as a pitcher, he gets to stay in the game. That's
right.
not right either.
No.
But I think I think this could be the Dodgers rule. No more deferrals. Let's start with that, because teams are still going to pay. I mean, the Mets aren't deferring any of what's his name, Soto's contract. They're just paying that right out of their pocket.
Yep.
And teams will do that. Teams are going to find a way to do it, and the players will be just fine. Maybe the top 0.5% won't like it, but everybody else will really appreciate it. It'll mean that there isn't a stoppage, that everybody gets their paychecks on time. And because, there were some stories in 21 that came out about guys who are like, hey, I need this to end because I went out and bought this house.
Yeah.
And I got to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I bought me a luxury car that I can't afford anymore.
Yeah. I was making these purchases thinking this money would keep coming in, and then all of a sudden it stops. Yeah. So anyway, that's a conversation that we'll have more, and on maybe devote segments to it. But that was an interesting thought. So root for the Brewers, and then probably it'll be the Mariners, but whoever faces off as the American League representative if the Dodgers make it. Okay, time for our cleanup segment. Let's do that. It's coming up next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. We want you to become a diehard, please. It's such a good deal. Even though the deal, the one with the hat and the shirt for a little cheaper price is off, it's still a great deal. So you should become a diehard no matter the price. We're not going to raise it. Only thing we've ever done since we've been around is lower it, right, to incentivize you. But we don't have any intention of raising it, and it's still such a great deal for the content that you get from us. There are no other media outlets in town that provide this kind of content. Like there's nobody, for example, and I know this isn't obviously all written, Jeff, but there's nobody talking Rangers 5 days a week during the offseason or writing Rangers or doing anything Rangers.
Yeah. I remember when I worked for the other place, October, I just took off basically.
Yeah.
Unless there was a coaching. I was off.
Right. Yeah.
Not anymore, baby. And I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I like talking baseball.
Yeah. So scan that QR code and or go to alldlls.com/join and become a diehard today to get all this content that we're talking about. Us, Cowboys, Stars, and Mavs.
Rarities. If we resubscribe as a diehard, do we get a free shirt? It depends on when you signed up. But
Rarities probably signed up week 1. And you will then, right?
I think so. But anyway, we gotta run that one up the flagpole. And you get your free shirt at store.allcitynetwork.com. It's where John and I do all of our shopping, basically.
Pretty much.
You can see every day from what we've got on. And they're good items. If they sucked, we wouldn't buy them. I mean, we'll be honest with you. We are really dialed into the fashion world.
Absolutely.
If they weren't comfortable and didn't look good, we would be like, sorry, we're not going to do it. But they do look good and they do feel good. So store.allcitynetwork.com.
A lot of people call us fashionistas, as a matter of fact.
That's right.
So how about that game by Yamamoto last night? We referenced it briefly earlier that, old school thought was that you'd throw a complete game. And it is so freaking old school. It's unbelievable. It's a thing of the past. Nobody does it anymore, And yet there it was. After an 8-inning performance the night before by Blake Snell, where he faced the minimum through 8 innings, Yamamoto gets in there last night, and I'm sitting there watching, and lo and behold, first hitter comes up, and bam, home run.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, okay, the Brewers, here they come, Brew Crew, baby. They're not, well, that was Jackson Churio. by the way, and that was it. Right? It's the only run he gave up. He completed the game after that. It's really unbelievable, and really, we said it. Pitching has ruled the day probably forever in the playoffs. Certainly throughout the course of the playoffs thus far, the Dodgers have 7 starts of 6 innings or more in the 8 postseason games. They're the first team to do that since the 2013 Tigers, who had Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Anibal Sanchez, Doug Fister, and Rick Porcello. Right, so this is pitching, and we've always said it. I remember saying it early in my career. Pitching wins in the playoffs.
Yeah, and our guy Tio just took the words right out of my mouth. The Dodgers bullpen is awful.
Yes, you got to go.
You don't want to go into that bullpen.
Yeah.
So I think maybe they're pushing their starters a little bit, and that's fine. You know, starting pitchers are your best pitcher.
Yep.
Okay, they're your best pitchers, and you know, if I'm the Dodgers, I want Blake Snell even tiring to pitch the 8th as opposed to Blake Trinan or Taylor Scott, who I think is hurt. But you get the point. I do like the kid named Emmett Sheehan. I think he's all right. But and then Yamamoto, we want to say old school, and he's still young, but he did pitch in Japan, where they will push their starters a little bit more.
Yep.
And yes, T.O., I also Doug Fister, former Ranger, good guy.
Yeah.
Really, really good guy. I liked old Doug.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, it's nice to see. And, you know, when there was a Kirby Yates question earlier about when the Rangers bring Yates back after his kind of dismal injury-plagued season with the Dodgers. I don't think so. I mean, he's now he's a year older. I don't think he's quite 40, but he appears to be on the downside of his career, and maybe they tapped out, or they got the most out of him, although they did want to re-sign him. I know that for a fact. And I know that they weren't pleased.
They were disappointed,
to the Dodgers. So anyway, I don't know. It just seems like the Dodgers are like, all right, we're tired of screwing around here.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and just
he's good.
Put our foot on the gas.
That's again, that goes back to that salary cap thing. Hey, he's good. We'll just pay him. First postseason complete game since Verlander did it in 2017 against the Yankees. It was a ALCS game when he was with Houston, and of course that was the year, right? the Yankees and the rest of baseball hate. No batter hit with a runner in scoring position in that game, and that's the first time it's happened since I watched the end of this game in the hotel there in St. Petersburg. That the team hotel, what the heck was that one called? Whatever. Beautiful old hotel in St. Pete. And half the Rangers team was in the bar down there after they'd won game 1 of their series. Roy Halladay pitched a no-hitter in the playoffs in 2010. Yeah. And that's the last time no batter had hit in a postseason game with no runner in scoring position. So, and then he's only the 4th pitcher in playoff history to have allow a leadoff home run and then throw a complete game. Johnny Antonelli in 54.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember Johnny?
Yeah.
And then old Flat Bill Foley and a rubber arm,
dangly arm,
rubber arm Wilson in 09. So anyway, the accomplishments are amazing. The accomplishments of the Dodgers also continue to amaze because, Jeff, they're doing this essentially without Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, he's been
2 for 25.
A little slump action.
2 for 25.
is the Vinoy is the hotel.
Vinoy, thank you. That's it. The Vinoy, thank you.
Yeah, it was driving me crazy. I had to look it up.
Yeah.
I remember that night when Halladay threw the no-hitter. I was in downtown St. Pete. I might have been going bar to bar. But I do remember watching it in a bar, and they ended up losing that series. To the Cardinals.
They did.
Who then went on to, as we know, ruin the Rangers season.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yep. So Anyway, that was that, and they're doing it without Ohtani, 2 for 25. Now, so coming back from 0-2 in a series, teams have been down 0-2 in a series, I think 93 times. This is in a 7-game series. They've been down 93 times in a 7-game series, Jeff.
Okay.
And I believe they have come back to win the series. Pretty shocking. 73 of those.
Really?
That's what it's. Double check this.
Well, that is surprising.
Yeah, and of course the most famous one is the Red Sox in 04. They were down 3-0.
Right. And they're still the only team that's ever come.
Yeah, they're the only ones that
baseball.
ever have. All right, losing the first 2 games in a series. Teams who have. Oh, no, sorry. It's the opposite. Yeah. Teams who win the first 2 games win 78 of the 93 instances. But here's some of the famous ones that have come back. Oh, as recently as 2023, the Diamondbacks.
Oh, the Diamondbacks.
Over the Phillies.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was big.
Yeah, that was big in the NLCS. They were down 2-0 and came back to beat the Phillies. In 2020, they were coming in hot. They were coming in hot. In 2020, Dodgers were down 2-0 to the Braves. Speaking of coming in hot, they came in hot to the World Series that year as well and won it.
Yeah,
in Arlington.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
In fact, was the NLCS was in Arlington too, wasn't it? It was
one of the DSs.
I think the CS.
The CS was.
And
then the World Series.
Yeah. And then 04, Boston trailed 3-0. If you just think about that, you trailed the thing 3-0. You win. You have to win 4 straight games, and they did it.
Yep.
79 Pirates. Yeah. There with the TO. So 1996, Yankees over the Braves.
Yankees beat the Braves.
Yeah.
In the World Series.
Yeah, in the World Series. Also,
18-year-old Andrew Jones hit 2 homers in one of the games. And
also in the World Series, Bill Buckner.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
86 Mets over the Red Sox. Oh, this one's in your wheelhouse.
Ooh, my
Did
wheelhouse.
you say you went in the World
85.
Series? Yeah.
85, yeah.
Yeah.
It was 3-1 when they went back to Kansas City.
Was it really? Yeah, that's right.
No, that's not possible.
Yeah.
3-2.
No, it says Royals overcame and a 3-1 deficit. Yeah.
3-1. So they won. Okay. So
yeah.
They won the last 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they won the last one in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah. And
won the infamous Game 6 that I attended and then blew out Game 7.
And in the same year, they had to do the same thing in the ALCS against the Blue Jays.
I remember that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah. And then we're still not back to 79, T.O. Cardinals over the Dodgers. That was 85. Dodgers over the Yankees in 81. And they won it in 6 games.
Ah.
So that's 4 straight wins, too.
Well, that was like the Yankees and Braves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, T.O., it says here in MLB, 78 World Series had one of those, and the 71 Pirates won over the Orioles back in 1971. So anyway, it doesn't happen often. It might happen this year. It could happen twice this year. I really hope it does in the National League, because the other thing is, way back in like March when everybody was saying the Dodgers are going to ruin baseball, I said the Dodgers aren't even going to win the World Series. And damn it, now they might. And I'll look bad. So anyway, I'm rooting for anybody.
I'm really torn because
Dodgers.
We have the reasons for the small market team to win, and I want you to save face. And then, but I have a friend who could win a lot of money if the Dodgers.
The Dodgers? Oh, really? Yeah.
So, gosh, it's I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Hopefully, our favorite pizza place back home.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So anyway, always lots to talk about. We appreciate all of your comments. Oh yeah, T.O. bringing up Sundberg in the Royals deal. So anyway, we love having all your comments. We love chatting with you and talking baseball with you, and we're going to do it again tomorrow and Friday. We'll be back at 1:00 each of those days, and I think all next week as well on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.